Hello, Smello. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to a Worlds Collide Atmosphere Showcase featuring the Schwanch 27, Zigzag 58, and Mike 34. Joining me tonight as the co-commentary, or maybe the lead commentary, even some would say, Darkness. Darkness, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. It's fun to be on Speed Gaming again. I was doing some Speed Gaming stuff recently for Paper Mario, but it's been a while since I've been doing Final Fantasy VI here, so we're glad to be back. Should be a fun Worlds Collide matchup here. So this is the Atmos series. Again, we haven't been here in a while, so as the creator of this flag set, do you want to go into what it's like a bit?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, we're playing some Worlds Collide. Worlds Collide is the open world Final Fantasy VI randomizer. Our goal is to collect 6 characters, 9 espers, and then we get to descend into Kefka's tower, climb the tower itself, and defeat the final boss. Doesn't matter which of the 6 of the 14 characters we find. Doesn't matter which of the 9 of the 27 espers we find. Just gotta find 6 and 9 of them. In this particular flag set, 6 and 9, we do have a concept called Kefka's Tower Skip, where if we happen to find 9 characters, 12 espers, or come across 22 checks throughout the world, we will be able to bypass a big portion of walking through Kefka's Tower. Speed yourself up a little bit. And this flag set, we're shuffling characters' abilities, we're shuffling items in shops, we're shuffling weapons that you would find in shops, random spells on espers, variety of ways to get a bunch of offense. Plus, we get a few starting items to get going, and it's kind of like a lightly competitive, standard-ish type flag set. That's overall not right in the middle spectrum of difficulty. So nothing too eye-opening, nothing too crazy, but still we're shuffling everything around for fun.
Yeah, so we should be getting in pretty soon. I think it should be fun. We got some 3 pretty experienced runners here. Well, 2 experienced runners. Zixit, I believe, is pretty new, but yeah, it should be. Oh, Shadow, Setzer, Cyan. Lore. We'll take Lore, X Magic, and I forget what the second one. Runic. Not the best, but they have their uses. Nope, I see Quasar Grand Chain. That's good enough. At least once we'll be able to cast it, that'll be nice to have.
Yeah, lore, pretty powerful ability, and then to have Grand Train and Quays are arguably the 2 best lures right there in front of you. Pretty good feeling.
Yep. Ooh, Bahamut, another nice spell to have in the form of an Esper cast. You can only get to use it once, no multi-summon like in our easier Moogle Cup flag set, or once per battle, I should say. But still, it's one of the strongest spells in the game, so even being able to use it once, still pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in a Worlds Collide Seed, the standard opening is kind of we poke ourselves around in some of the towns that happen to have chests, get a little bit of items under our belt, get a little bit of money. We'll also run around and collect some of the free checks we have access to. In this case, Shadow has a free check, which is where you recruit him during the saving scenario in the middle of the game. You find him at Gal Manor, and he can come with you. Over there, we can find a character, Esper, or an item without having to defeat any monsters, just as a free check. And that's what a lot of the opening will be here for the first 10 minutes or so. A lot of peeking around, a lot of finding some items, visiting some shops, and trying to get little things in our inventory that will help us throughout the seed.
Yeah, we have 3 characters all with free checks. So with how scaling works in Worlds Collide, it's based on the amount of characters and espers and you have and dragons you've killed. So it's not about like where you are in the place. It's just about how much stuff you have and how much stuff you've done. So with you're starting at level 3, but the enemies are going to be level 6 at the beginning, and any like Esper character you find is going to add 2 more levels to that. So with having 3 checks we can do without having to take any fights, it'll be interesting to see if people want to do all 3 of those. Get generally level 12 is about the max you would want, so it should be fine. Although actually with Sabin we have a 4th now, so I don't know what your thoughts are, but probably see people at least save 1 or 2 of those for later. But
No, I say all gas, no brakes. Sabin does give us access to another free check, and we do have. Ooh, that's an Atma weapon hanging around there, and returners for Zigzit and us Mike as well. Sabin gives us access to another free check. Plus, we're walking around another check that's free in terms of we'd have to take on a boss or enemies to get to it, but we have to fork over some money. and the Zen Thief, where you get one of the espers in the original game. Could be a random price, could be super pricey, could be almost free. But we have access to a number of free checks, so we could get push that scaling darkness bitch up quite a bit here in the beginning if you wanted to do so.
Yeah. The one nice thing though is if it's since it's not based on the 12 checks you've done, if you don't get a character and esper from a check, then it won't increase your scaling. So
Mhm.
you get a pretty nice piece of equipment without having to take that scaling up too far. So it might also depend on what we get from the checks themselves.
Yeah, there's nothing that says AS. There's 27 total espers, 14 characters out there. We're starting with 3 of them. There's a number of dead checks, and there's a very, very lucrative high-tier item award pool that those dead checks can be the best weapons, best swords, best relics, best armor in the game. So sometimes getting a dead check is actually better than getting an actual piece of progression because it can kind of greatly amplify your ability to work through the battles that are ahead of you. So sometimes dead checks are a blessing. So we have access to a number of checks here to start without taking any fights. But if 1 or 2 of them are dead, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because it doesn't push those enemy levels up and it kind of keeps them within a tolerable range.
So far, we've seen lots of Narsh returners and Cloingen and also Gao's dad's house. So it'll be interesting to see where people go to next. Yep, South Figaro. Generally, another common place. Generally speaking, any town with 4 shops and a bunch of chests is good to go at the start. So, Narsh, I mean, that's where the ship starts. So a lot of people will start there. And then South Figaro has lots of chests. So, especially if you loot the basement. So, another common place to go. And we'll see if, people go to Zen to check the Zen Thief and potentially do Saban's check as well. Or if they go elsewhere.
Yeah, Zen is nice because there's no treasure chest openly available within Zen, but it's nice and compressed. It's not the biggest town, so it's real quick to get in and out. Plus, obviously, the Zen Thief you mentioned. You do kind of reach a point of diminishing returns the more shops you check, because you're looking for consumables, your remedies, your sleeping bags, your Phoenix Downs, your potions, things like that. And then relic-wise, you're looking for earrings, Atlas armlets, and then whatever else you can find to get you going. But once you kind of start to cross off some things, shops start to give you diminishing returns for your time investment and poking your head around a little bit. So eventually, I think we're coming up about the 6-minute mark for all of our runners, and we're reaching probably the back 9 of the opening phase. And Darkness, with this party specifically, where would you go for your first check?
So one thing I like to do, or at least I've been starting to try and do, is walk and grind up Mount Zozo. There's lots of different enemy regions. So if there's a section where there are enemies that don't give any XP or gonna kill you instantly, you can just run and go to a different spot. You do fights outside in the overworld and then go into the overworld, and then I believe in the cave it's also different fights. So it's good to do that. Also, there's a dragon up there, so if you can get a few levels, you can take on that dragon. And then there's no boss at the end, so dragons are generally speaking much easier than bosses. He can definitely still kill you, especially if you're low level, but if you have a few levels and you're up to sort of 400, 500 HP, you can generally, survive and be able to get through just fine as long as you have enough power. We are a bit low in terms of power, so that might be a bit risky to do at this point, but it's definitely something I'd consider. Another thing you could do is do Dome of Defense, because you can talk to the soldiers on the sides, and that will give you a random encounter there by talking to any of them. I believe there's 8 in total, so you get lots of XP from that. And you can't save before the boss fight, but it takes only a few seconds to get to the boss. So you can always just save outside, look at the boss, and then reset instantly. And if it's Magimaster, then okay, I have to grind somewhere else. And if it's an easy boss, then okay, I can probably just take the grind fights and complete it fairly easily.
Yeah, the common denominator in every one of the spots you can go is fixed encounters. It's really hard to kill stuff when you're level 3 in Worlds Collide, and other things are level 9 or level 12 or whatever they may be. So the opening grind, there's a lot of great spots to do it. There's no right answer, but the good rule of thumb is one, give yourself multiple options, multiple terrains, because if you run into the level magics of the world, well, those don't give experience, plus they're likely to kill you. Or something with a free heal right next to it, because when you're level, you don't have access to a lot of MP at your disposal, so the ability to restore your MP for free as you gain a few levels and get to the point where you can start casting this Grand Train or this Quasar we have access to is huge. So somewhere we have a free heal, we can maybe top ourselves off and then, use that Grand Train with a limited MP to get to the next fixed encounter. Is usually a good idea as well.
Yeah, generally speaking, yes. Another, common spots are either outside like World of Ruin Narch, because you can heal there, or outside of South Figaro Cave and World of Balance, because again, there's another heal spot, and there's multiple spots where you can grind either like inside the town/cave or outside in the overworld. Or like you can go into the desert in South Figaro. It's not that far of a walk, so generally, lots of options, healing if possible, or you can like just do it in the middle of a check, so you save the time of not having to go elsewhere. But unfortunately, we don't have the like optimal characters for that. Like, actually, we have Sabin. I forgot we got Sabin. So yeah, I'd probably just do Imperial Camp. Imperial Camp's one of the best options for that. So I was thinking with the starting characters, but yeah, Sabin definitely changes my mindset with that. I think we'll probably see most people do Imperial Camp.
Yeah, there's 2 checks that don't have fixed encounters built into them, but no boss. And bosses early on are the biggest threat to you until you can get those spells online. We haven't seen the what's on the Bahamut Esper yet, or plus anything else we have found. But if there's anything like a tier 3, tier 2 spell, or even something like Flare or Meteor, or even something better, just the ability to get just fixed encounters and work your way through a check at the same time at Imperial Camp is a good idea. Looks like we got Scan and Fire. I give that Esper a -3 out of 10. There's going to be better Espers to have throughout the seed, but maybe this Esper or item from Collapsing House is something that's a lot cooler.
I mean, Scan can be used versus Magic Master. No.
Yeah, there's nothing like using Scan on Magic Master, and turns out he's weak to poison. The best feeling in the world.
Yeah. Oh, you got Zixit choosing the grind here outside South Figaro. Generally, again, I mean, there's no healing here, so it's a bit rare, but I mean, they are just right here immediately, so you can. Not that big of a deal. They can always go somewhere else if the encounters are bad or they need to heal.
I like this by Zigzit. There's the plains and the little forest right there outside South Figaro, so if you don't like what you're seeing on the plains, you can hop on over into the forest and you'll get different sets of encounters. Speaking of things I like, this is something I don't like. This is a really, really brutal first fight here for Schwantz. This is one of the more dangerous fixed encounters in the game. And yeah, this is a doozy, the first one here at Imperial Camp.
Yep, level 5 Doom. Thankfully we're level 3, so that's not that big of a deal. I forget if these guys have level 3 Muddle, which would be a bit of a bigger deal. Again, level 4 Flare. No, thankfully don't have to worry about that.
Keep going. They keep going. Eventually they'll give you something to worry about.
Yeah. Atomic Ray, we absorb it.
I think Schwantz is flexing here.
Launcher is a bigger deal.
So as you can see, we've seen level 5 Doom, level 4 Flare, multiple launchers. Skybase indoors, they are no bueno.
Yeah, they also have a lot of HP, so this is, as you can see, going to be well.
Yeah. So Mike,
Runic health.
So Zigzit, he did gain some levels, and we've seen multiple level 5 Dooms already. Let's see if Zigzit's going to dance with the door in the Skybase. No, he's not. Nicely done.
Yeah, I think I would run from this fight, but definitely, especially once you sort of commit to it, it's hard to, sort of cut your losses.
Mm-hmm. Well, the good news is we're only about 2% through the fight. There we go. Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Schwantz will like the next fight much better.
Thankfully, we don't have sketch. Mike choosing to join them. I believe still on level 3, but not. Oh, is not paying super close attention. Oh, we have Aquawaker also. That's decent damage. At least early on.
Yeah, Aquawork is always nice because it has a low MP requirement, so if you can get your lore user to like level 5-ish or so, maybe even be able to cast it multiple times. Yeah. Oh, Mike must have found an economizer because he's busting out Bahamut for 1 MP. That is a great heads-up play by Mike to, 1, not only know that he has Bahamut available as a summon, 2, he can do it for free.
But that wasn't even enough to kill.
Yeah, I think we're seeing.
Thankfully,
they were
Sensor
through.
got out.
Yeah.
That was nearly very tragic.
Unless you can one-shot them, always run away from Sky Base and doors.
Yeah.
And even then, you could arguably should probably still run away.
Ooh, nice side attack there.
Yeah, this is huge for Mike. Not only can he summon Bahamut for 1 MP, remember we all have Grand Train on Cyan, while Cyan's probably not your preferred lore user. Early on, it doesn't matter as much. The differences in the damage will grow exponentially as characters gain levels. But early on, magic even on a weaker character is usually a pretty good idea.
So, what are your thoughts with having the economizer on the Bahamut user instead of our lore user? Because you can only cast Bahamut once, whereas if you know the lore, you could cast Grand Train as many times as you want. But it
For the
is a
big,
bit weaker.
Yeah, for these fixed encounters, it's perfectly fine. Because any fight here, you would surmise that either A, Bahamut kills it, or B, I need to run away from it. And if Bahamut doesn't kill with 1 cast, like he did with the door Sky Bases, you would just run away from it. And if you think about, you got to know, you got to have a robust knowledge of the fixed encounters that are available in Final Fantasy VI. But if you think about it for a moment, like Doom Dragon's probably not getting one-shot by Bahamut. There's like level magics, you're probably not getting one-shot, but you're not fighting them anyways. So if you go down the list of things that you wouldn't want to fight, you can't one-shot them anyways. So everything else, though, perfectly fine. So going forward, maybe to the boss, so Mike would switch it over so we can get multiple casts, but usually fixed encounters, Bahamut's gonna take care of anything that's worth fighting.
Yeah. Could also put Bahamut on the lore user, and then you have access to both. But because I'm pretty sure Bahamut did not have any good spells, but it might have had good much bonus.
Well, it had fire.
Fire.
So if we get if our characters get frozen, we have access to thawing them out.
Yeah, we don't really care who has fire, really. It's more, support ability, not really, big damaging thing.
Okay, so Zigzag's gonna make his way to a collapsing house. Schwant's still wrapping up his Imperial camp, and Mike is done. We'll get his Esper for his troubles.
Would you be checking these monster boxes, given that we have the Atma weapon? Or nah?
Nah.
So for the
console is like harder to kill than like half of the bosses in Final Fantasy VI. So with like early on, when like your offense, it's kind of like a catch-22. Like the sooner you can find an offering, the better. But also, the sooner you look for it, he's one of the there's pretty much every World of Balance boss you would fight is easier to kill than Katana Soul. So it's kind of like early on, your offense is not ideal. So it's a catch-22. If I had access to an early, my rule of thumb, this is just me personally. There's other philosophies you can adapt or and put them on your own. But unless I have an early Valiant Knife, I have absolutely no desire to touch monster boxes.
I see Schwann's checking out that one. Presenter, which is not worth fighting. But yeah, so for those that do not know, one of the monster boxes, there was I think 11 or 12 total, but yeah, one of them is the Katana Soul, which drops the offering, which basically turns your one attack into 4 attacks at half damage. But the Valiant Knife's weird, and it only the half damage only applies to the base damage. The bonus damage you get for being low HP does not get cut in half, so it's extremely good with the offering. Yeah, so if you ever, if you have a Valiant Knife, or sometimes an ammo weapon as well, because the ammo weapon, the damage can get so absurdly high that you don't really care about it being cut in half. But yeah, if you see people going for those monster boxes, that's generally what they're looking for. Pretty much anything else except for Gigantos, which will give you a bunch of levels. People are just gonna run from, or just.
Yeah, Gigantos is the most experienced dense monster in the game. He does punch very hard, but he's susceptible to instant break, muddle, a couple other shenanigans you can do with them. PM Stalkers, there's 2 sets of PM Stalkers out of the 11. PM Stalkers have comically low HP, so you have any type of AoE. Even if that AoE is an Ice 2 Cyan, it will usually take care of those for you. And they give decent experience if you can take them down in just a single turn. But unfortunately, some of the other monster boxes are big trolls. Like Schwantz with the Presenter is unfortunate. It wasn't what he was looking for. And then the rest of the list is also kind of falls in the same category. It's just an eye roll when you see them. Speaking of eye rolling.
Yep. I definitely do not like seeing Gogo as my 5th character, because there's a decent chance that we will have to do Gogo's check to get our 6th character.
Mm-hmm. But we can also mimic stuff now, so that's a plus, I've been told.
Well, and we will be mimicking stuff as Setzer is kicked out. Yeah, so Gogo, for those that do not know, he can mimic. That's his basic ability, and you can also take any of the abilities that any of the other people in the party have and use those himself, with a few exceptions. Generally stuff that isn't available in the normal game. You can't use like Magitech. But the downside with Gogo is his stats are pretty bad, and he can't equip Espers, so you can't buff his stats with like Espers, and but he does automatically know all spells any other party members have, so that's another upside with him.
Yeah, the good news is Gogo can have access to all the abilities your characters have, save for the exceptions Darkness mentioned. The bad news is Gogo's going to do it worse than what any of your characters could possibly do. So usually Gogo is like the best, a really good 4th character, a really good support character. You can throw the spell, like, rather than having to worry about this person A and person B have the spell, really just person A needs it, and they can all just sit in Gogo's inventory or in a spell list until they're needed for future use. Like this Fire 3, for example. Not only will Gogo know it once somebody learns it, if he sits in the party, he can also mimic it for free MP. And then things like Bahamut as well. If Mike wants to continue casting Bahamut, you can cast Bahamut more than once, technically, because you can mimic it.
Yeah, and also we didn't run into any, but if you have like any like rods to break or shields to break, Gogo can mimic those without using up any extra items. He mimics it, and yeah, same with like throw, although we don't have a throw user. Yeah, he's definitely very good if you have any of those things, but sadly we don't. But still, he has his uses.
Alright, we're starting to see a little bit of a divergence. Mike is entering the dragon killing portion of his seed. He took down the Mount Zozo dragon, but unfortunately he only got a force shield, so he is saying, you know what, I'm going to double down and head on over to the Opera Dragon, take care of this blue dragon here. Blue dragon's a little scarier early on, but I think Mike's got that Bahamut, some Grand Train, a lot of stuff going for him. Plus Cure too, so he's going to be able to handle this pretty comfortably, I think.
Yeah.
And Schwantz is taking to the skies, it looks like.
Yeah, Floating Continent play very risky, just because it's a very long check, and there's 4 bosses throughout it, so if any one of those 4 is like a Magic Master you can't deal with, you're in some pretty serious trouble. You're gonna lose a lot of time. But if you're feeling confident with your power, you can just definitely get lots of levels, and if it's something important like it's where the only way you can get a sixth character is, then people that save it for the very end are going to be very much out of luck.
Yeah, there's a lot of risk reward with Floating Continent. The risk is it's a very long time. You gotta fight through 4 bosses plus a number of fixed encounters. The reward is there's 2 guaranteed pieces of progression. Plus, if you're gonna go up there, you rather go up there sooner rather than later, because you can easily back yourself into a corner where you have all of the espers but you need, but not your characters, or vice versa, and you're like, the checks you've worked through and the ones you're down to are no bueno. So you decide to go up there, and it turns out it gives you what you not needed or you didn't need. But if you go up there sooner rather than later, it doesn't matter what she gives you, because you need both characters and espers still. It gives you peace of mind, most of all, if you get through it.
It's definitely interesting, because I think generally I like Floating Continent when there's like not very many other good checks available, because you're probably gonna have to do it at some point anyway for like extra espers or characters. But I mean, we do still have lots of good checks available. Another triple check that we can do is Cyan's Doma Dream, which is again also 3 checks, but only one is guaranteed progression instead of 2. But the upside is you only have to fight 2 bosses instead of 4, and there's no fixed encounters, and you generally I think it's a bit less walking overall. So generally speaking, you'd see people do that more often. Also, you get full sword tech, all the sword tech abilities if you have a sword tech user, although we don't have one currently. So, and then Sabin also has 5 different checks, and they're all pretty good. So we see Zixit doing Mount Colts right now, another one of Sabin's checks.
Looks like
House right there. Oh, no, sorry, that's my bad.
It looks like Mike is continuing his dragon hunt. This is really nice because these dragons are giving him a bunch of levels. Fortunately, there's not any spells that are of note other than that Fire 3, which I don't think actually, yeah, Mike does have the Fire 3. So he's definitely gonna get Fire 3 passed around here a little bit, but yeah, all these dragons, they're gonna slingshot his levels to the mid-20s, and you do reach a point in Atmospheres and generally most World Collide Slag sets where when your party is fully formed, the difficulty gets removed from the game, and it doesn't exist again until your party is compromised and split in Kefka's Tower, and you're fighting endgame bosses within the game that can only 1v1. And what Mike is doing here, his idea is, let's kill all these dragons right here in the middle of my seed, take all of the wonderful high tier items experience, plus whatever else they give me, and that will just kind of push me to endgame levels with endgame gear sooner rather than later. And I really like that out of Mike here.
Speaking of things I really like, knowing that Gold Dragon is vulnerable to Berserk. And it definitely takes a lot of the problems out of having to fight him. It should be pretty simple to fight at this point. But yeah, especially with the level of power we have so far, I definitely agree with trying to take out as many dragons as possible. An Illumina that like Sabin or Cyan can equip would change things drastically. In terms of power, or so I mean, we have the Atma, but we're not high enough levels, so also just getting more levels to be able to use the Atma as soon as possible. I don't remember if anyone could equip it, but
yeah.
No, Prolance can be equipped by no one. RIP.
Yeah, there's nothing that says there can't be amazing power here for Schwann's at Floating Continent. But whoever named them the 8 legendary dragons is lying to you. They're generally not very scary. The scarier 2 dragons are the Gold Dragon and the Blue Dragon, and Mike quickly made work of both of them. And now I fully expect Zigzit to have his way with his Blue Dragon here as well. So yeah, I every time I hear the word 8 legendary dragons, I always make air quotes with my hands because they're not very legendary.
I'd say Pearl Dragon or White Dragon is also a bit annoying, but especially if they just decide to cast like 3 Scar Beams or whatever at the start. But yeah, generally speaking, most of the dragons are pretty easy to deal with, especially once you get a few levels and you can survive their like AoE shot attacks.
Alright, so no character at Floating Continent number 1 for Schwantz, and this is a pivotal moment in this race. Schwantz has to walk a very long way to get to the Atma weapon spot, And the save point is at a really inconvenient area, and a lot of players will walk past it. And oh no, oh no, I take it back. This is the best idea we'll have all day.
Assuming again that we can kill him. Although I assume Schwann's save at the starting.
Yeah.
So,
is he gonna go for a stone? Let's try. A katana soul can be muddled, and if he's muddled, he has a chance to Slayer Edge himself.
Stone can also do a ton of damage if you're the same level. But it's 6.5 times damage if it's the caster and the recipient are the same level. Don't know if that's the case because enemies do get randomized, like either up or down one or the same. So, but probably about the same level-wise.
Yeah, Katana Soul does not give experience, but he gives a robust amount of money, 78,000 GP there for Schwann's, and then obviously the offering is the prize in our hearts that we all desire.
Yep. Saban's getting already, even though they don't have the Admiral weapon equipped yet. But I'll probably be coming on pretty soon. Generally speaking, about level 30. Yes,
could Saban wear the Admiral weapon? I don't think anybody could wear it.
Oh, could no one wear it? I don't remember.
He does have a sniper. Sniper and offering is a decent backup plan.
Yeah. True. That could be that. Oh, nice red jacket from the clock there. Generally speaking, armor is not that big of a deal, but still nice to have. Can save your life in many cases, and does also give Murden protection if we ever find Murden, which is a very strong AoE fire wind spell, but it hits your party as well as the enemy party, so you want to make sure everyone can nullify, or if you're lucky, absorb it. Then it becomes super good, because if you can be hitting all your enemies and also healing yourself at the same time, that's it's hard to get much better than that in terms of going fast and killing things as safely as possible.
Alright, Zigzit's making their way to Doma Dream, which is a multiple part check similar to Floating Continent. There can only be only a character at the middle spot, which we will see here after we take care of this ghost train. At the first spot, we can only get an Esper or an item along with the throne. So we can walk out of here possibly with 3 Espers, possibly a character and a couple Espers. Or we're walking out here for worst case scenario with an Esper and a few more items. Unfortunately, we don't have access to Blitz, so we can't suplex the train, but we can just Grand Train it.
Yeah. And on Schwann's end, thankfully we're not level divisible by 5, because that would have been a very tragic ending there to this, or start to this Tomb Gaze fight. But generally, one of the bosses you don't really want to see. Has innate shell and safe, which basically means he takes 1/3 less damage from any physical or magical attack that doesn't ignore defense. Thankfully, Grand Train ignores defense, so it's very useful. It's weak to Pearl and Fire, so if you have Pearl Rods or Fire Rods, they're very useful, as those also ignore defense.
Yeah, that Doom Gaze there is interesting because Mike, and Zigzit, we know there's not a character the check Mike is heading to, and we know he needs at least 2 more characters. He may, adopt the same philosophy Schwann's has, and let's press that Floating Continent button on our airship menu and head on up there. And then knowing Doom Gaze is right there square in the middle is interesting because, unfortunately, Doom Gaze is one of those bosses where sometimes it's outside of your control if you can defeat him or not, because if you walk into him and all of your characters are level 30, there's nothing you can do about it. And you can't really plan for it other than to save at a save point before that. You're just going to eat it. So let's see if anybody else makes their way up there and is unfortunate with the Doom Gaze placement of the seed.
Schwan's already getting through 2 of the more difficult bosses there. I forget what the first boss was, but Stooge is generally not that bad mid-game, but early on, or in KT, when you don't have that much resources in terms of offense, it can be very deadly, because it's, there's 3 of them. Similar with the tentacles, since it's, 4v4, or, 2v4 if you're in KT potentially. But yeah, still a few potentially problematic enemies, but hopefully nothing more here in floating content. It's been tough enough as it is.
Alright, this Doma Dream is pretty tame. We just got Ipus and Vargas combined, which is not much of a threat here.
Schwann's using those leftover potions. Always nice to buy a few of those at the start of Seed, in case you need to heal and don't have a save point. Generally, it's hard to find, like cure spells or whatever early on, so just having a few of those can make things a lot easier. Although Ultra's one, pretty easy.
He does have big teeth, so he has that going for him. But unfortunately, doesn't have much HP for his sake, so he is down. And no characters, but it is 3 Espers up at Floating Continent, so.
Yeah, I mean, considering Schwann's was at 2 Espers when they started the check, I think, probably pretty happy to be at 3 Espers out of it. Interesting to see if they choose to go to Doma Dream now, because again, with 3 checks, you generally want to be doing that early on instead of later when if you're already if you only need 1 more progression, then the upside of getting 3 checks is very diminished.
Yeah,
Schwann's choosing. Sorry. Go ahead, Glue.
No runner knows this yet, but some of the faster checks, which all of these guys are prioritizing, are the multi-part checks. Don't lead to character number 6. So we're kind of down to Gogo's check. I think Cave on the Belt from Shadow, and then a couple of the saving checks we haven't seen, which is going to be Phantom Train and Mount Colts. So we're kind of like getting to the territory of who guesses right first. It's going to get to character number 5, or in Schwann's case, is character number 6 first.
Yeah, but Schwann's choosing to do Mount Zozo, which we've seen. I think it was an Esper or something, I forget, but yeah, definitely not our 6th character. It'll be interesting to see. Do you remember where we found Gogo?
The waterfall? Let's say the waterfall.
Oh yeah, it's the waterfall. So yeah, it'll be interesting because generally speaking, with Worlds Collide, the characters are generally deeper than they are wide. So it's generally speaking, a character will lead to another character. But with Gogo only having 1 check, that's a bit less likely. So I'd probably be doing like Sabin checks and seeing if Gogo's the dead end character and there's a second Sabin character on one of his other checks, and if Sabin's checks are all dead, which I mean I think it's basically just Phantom Train at this point that we haven't seen, probably would grit my teeth and go to Zone Eater and, weep softly, but kind of have to do it.
Yeah, that's the problem with Gogo too, is characters tend to be placed in the newer character spots, or as you find them, as Dark just mentioned. But Gogo can sometimes kind of be a funnel point. The good news is that if you get a bunch of Espers and you get the 9 characters, or excuse me, 9 Espers before you get all of your character, that's perfectly fine because you have to do that anyways. However, you do reach a point to where like you find all your Espers, you find the funnel point, and then once you get through that funnel point, it's more whack-a-mole, and it just turns into more guessing wrong. The good news is we have a concept called check skip. Anytime you complete a check in Worlds Collide and dragons are included in the check count, if we get to 22 of those, we get the checks. We get to do that Kefka's Tower skip, which allows us to land at the switches and bypass the Inferno spot, which is going to be a tough boss and a decent amount of walking. So sometimes going over the character search does lead to some dividends later on, and being able to bypass a bunch of blocking scenes that don't benefit the party. Zigzit is heading out the floating continent, so he's going to come down with 11 Espers and be back in the character search, but he may end up with Esper skip no matter what, because he's going to end up with there's a good chance he ends up with 12 Espers, because we know where some Espers are that he's likely to go to.
Yeah, it's interesting to come here with 8 Espers already, because obviously you only need 9, but maybe they have that in their mind. It's like, okay, even if there's like 2 or 3 Espers, no characters, I can just pivot into getting Esper skip and find my characters elsewhere. But yeah, very very good usage knowledge of the dragons there with Schwann's muting the white dragon. Fortunately, couldn't get it out before the first attack, so lost a little bit of time there, but still very good. Also, I'm pretty sure Pearl Dragon is one of the dragons that is technically not flying. I think there's like 2 or 3 that are not flying. It's like Dirt Dragon, Pearl Dragon, something else stupid, like I think Blue Dragon or something weird. Yeah, so Sniper, triple damage if it procs on flying enemies, but only, I believe, 50% bonus on non-flying enemies, so it's important there. So it is funny that like some of the dragons, despite being dragons, they don't fly.
Alright, so this is another small little moment for Mike. He's going to find his Go-Go, which is behind this leader, which is, by all intended purposes, a free fight. So let's see if Mike is the first one that decides to go down the Go-Go rabbit hole.
Yeah, I think at 9 Espers is probably the first check I would do. That way at least if, it's either it's a character, it's a dead end, and, you can try and think of what other places it might be. Yeah, this is another, again, talking about like 6, they're doing the slowest, it is 3 checks, but it's still the slowest thing in the game. It's purely in terms of time spent, and versus, Barren Falls, which is one of the fastest in the game. So it's surprising that they, haven't done checks like that yet, and choosing to do floating content, but, definitely has pros and cons. Genji Glove there. Schwann's choosing to take the fight.
I didn't know a glove could sleep.
Oh, no, okay. Schwann's, I guess, deciding to see if the enemy was worth fighting, and Chadnock, not that difficult, but pretty slow. Especially if you don't have the best power in the world, so... Yeah, Schwann's deciding, not worth my time. And we'll go elsewhere. Yep, Mike changing their party to only have 1 character, so I think we know what that means. We're not missing putting floating content, thankfully. Okay.
That's interesting. Schwantz didn't buy the Zen Thief no matter the price. Did he buy the Zen Thief? I missed it, but he did that like that 80,000 or whatever from Katana Soul, so it's not like he's not like he's hurting. In fact, if you need to borrow some money, Schwantz is going to be the guy to ask tonight.
Yeah. Yeah, the max it can roll is 65k, so don't really have to worry about not having enough money. So just buy it immediately if you want. But nicely done dodging there by Mike. Definitely the most annoying. Not so nice there.
Yeah, that X Ether wasn't worth it. That little chest on the right can be is massive bait sometimes, because if he lingers on the right for him just a little bit longer. But that X Ether, hard to resist the appeal of that chest because it's right there.
Yeah. See, unfortunately, not there. Can also pause buffer to hopefully get lucky, because there is a bit of they can't hit you when you're pausing, but they will still be moving. So you can get lucky and they'll sort of move away while you start to pause. Although you can also get unlucky, and they move towards you. So, okay, we're going for that chest, I guess, because we're waiting. Generally speaking, most people won't try to go for it when he's in the back there, because it's a lot riskier. But okay, there we see the pause buffer. Didn't need it, but not punished for it either. So Never see anyone take that third chest. Very annoying to get, but so yeah, there's a reason we don't see it. Definitely not worth your time unless you're doing like Archipelago and have to pick up every chest. In which case it is very frustrating. Fortunately, Mike not quite able to get through that cycle. But not that much time lost. It's pretty precise movement if you're getting the chest to get that without, and skip the crushing cycle thing. Oh, it is an Esper, so our other character's lurking somewhere.
Yeah.
You got any thoughts? Sorry.
Oh, I got tons of thoughts. Let's hone in on what's important. We are down to Cave on the Veldt, which Mike is looking for. Kefka at Narsh, Mount Colts, or Phantom Train. So we got a 25% chance based on all the information we know, not collectively what every runner has or has not done. But where do you think the character is going to be, Darkness? I'm going to guess. I'm going to pray, and it's a little bit of mean-spirited, but I'm gonna pray Kefka at Narsh.
Yeah, this definitely would be the worst. I
Yeah,
agree
Kefka
with
Narsh, I
Mike.
think you're going to last here.
Yeah, Mike definitely. I think this is a smart play coming here. This is peekable. It only takes about 40 seconds to get to where you see where the reward is. So this is pretty fast. Phantom Train is technically peekable earlier, but it's a slower check. So plus he's already in World of Ruin. So I agree with doing this first, and then probably do Phantom Train next. What was the other one you said besides Kefka Narsh?
Mount Colts or Phantom Train.
Uh,
Yeah, I think in the order of operations, this is the last starting character check we haven't seen, and then Saban was character number 4, so he's next up in terms of likelihood. So if Saban is a dead end and Gogo is a dead end, it would be a really long time before I personally would end up at Kefka at Narsh, and I think some of these guys may apply that same logic to it.
yeah.
All right, Zigzit, moment of truth. He passes. Well done.
Yep. Always nice to pass the math test. Schwann's Twin Dome defensive. Only a was it snow muffler out of it, but still very very protective. As our resident Yeti fanatic, Glue, I'm sure you're well aware of the powers of a snow muffler.
Yeah. Should be renamed the Spirit of Tomorrow. Absorbs ice, tremendous physical defense. Also keeps you warm and snuggly at night. Doomgaze did not, or Zigzag did not fall prey to level 5, but Doomgaze giving him the business just a little bit. He is annoying, even if you are able to get through the level 5 Doom, because he does have access to some wind spells, fractional HP, he can do some soul target Dooms. So if he doesn't get you with the level 5 Doom, there's some other ways he can annoy you in the fight, if not wipe you outright altogether.
Also interesting, on Mike's end, you saw that there was a merchant there. So this is one of the rare times where, or one of the checks where, merchant doesn't mean Esper or item. It means it's only an item. If it was an Esper, you'd see the Esper on the ground, or the match state some graphic on the ground. So it's still choosing to do it anyway. I assume presumably for skip or maybe decent power. So might be actually a situation where an item's better than an Esper since you don't need any extra Espers at this point.
Yeah.
But still not the character we're looking for. Oh, Ragnarok, that's decent.
Yeah, I think that's the exact type of thing Mike was hoping for there to get out of the dead check. It's like, you're already there, so why not see what the boss is or isn't? If it's free, or if it's on the easier side, it's a big chunk of experience. Plus, it's a shot at a big sword, and your most valuable endgame weapon is always the first one you find, because then you can just use it for all that fights that you're about to encounter going forward. And nobody can wear that Atma weapon, so we don't have access to one of the better swords in the game yet, or at least not a character that can use them. And we know it's tough going for characters or slim pickings, so maybe somebody can wear that Ragnarok, and that's a huge boon in the offensive category for Mike.
Yep.
All right, is it Mount Colts? That's a long screen. That is Mount Colts, and that's the best character in the game.
This Daryl's Tomb. What are we doing? Oh yeah, we haven't seen Daryl's Tomb yet, have we?
It's Genji Club.
Oh, we did. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, never mind. Yep. I forgot. Okay, yeah, so on Swan's end, yep. So that's our 6th character. So Schwann's just needs 2 more espers.
Yeah.
I believe they still haven't done Doma Dream yet, so I think there were 2
They have
there.
not.
So
Yeah, interesting. Schwantz isn't putting Yamaro into the party right away. Maybe he's going to de-equip somebody and put Yamaro in that way. Yeah, this is smart. You need all the stuff off of Cyan so you can put it on Yamaro and then utilize Yamaro to his best abilities.
thinking about something. Oil going up solo Cyan. Does this mean we're doing? Wait, what are we doing?
This is highly questionable. This almost feels like a taunt.
We're going to Narsh with solo Cyan.
To my knowledge, Schwantz is on the other side of the world.
Oh, we're peeking Yamaro's check. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, this is interesting all around.
Not a character.
He has 6 characters, right? Yeah, he has 6 characters. He found Gogo Yamaro Savin.
Well, I assume that he wants it to not be a character. He's trying to hope that they can do Tritalk and Yamaro's check for 2 espers, but I think I'd still rather do Doma Dream at this point. But no, we are going to Zone Eater. So, yeah, definitely we'll be asking about that. If we can get them for commentary.
Yeah, we're gonna have to write down. We got a lot of questions about that sequence, about what was going on.
I'm not losing my mind, right? So Schwantz has not done Doma Dream yet. I don't think.
Yeah, because he did Floating Continent because he got his 3 espers up there.
Yeah.
Good news for Zigzit. He's about to get character number 5. The bad news is if he applies a pretty good idea in going to my new character's checks, he's going to end up with Esper Skip, which isn't bad, but isn't the worst thing in the world to have happen to you. But
yeah, although given
I think you prefer a character.
Yeah, given how many dragons we've taken out and how many espers, probably close to check skip anyway. So you know, Esper Skip doesn't really do much if you're going to get check skip anyway. But yeah, we shall see what they choose to do.
Not to wish ill will on anybody, but I think that those shenanigans earlier were very Yamaro inspired by Schwantz. So I'm a big believer in karma. So I hope Schwantz does not get karma applied to him today and the ceiling lays hands on him. Just gonna throw that out there. Alright, Gogo for Zigzit. Mike just needs to guess Mount Colts or possibly even Phantom Train, still Kefka and Arsh, but Mount Colts we know is now that we think about it, there is a character at Kefka and Arsh or Phantom Train because Yamaro's not a character, so there's a character number 7. His placement is out there somewhere in one of those 2.
That is true.
That's good news for Zigzit, but he doesn't know it. This is bad news for Zigzit, but he doesn't know it.
So much easier if just, watch everyone stream like we do. Piece all the information together. That's why it's cheating.
Alright, looks like Mike is peeking Kefka and Arsh. This is almost 50-50 if it's a character or not, because we know there's one either here or at Phantom Train.
What? Alright. Why did Schwantz take off the local charm?
I think he's benching the Cyan. Alright, so Phantom Train's a character.
Would you rather keep it just for Kefka's tower? Whatever.
Gogo Yamaro is a interesting pickle. It's really Gogo has to go with somebody unless you have like a BK offering that only he could wear. Gogo has to go with somebody to be able to be effective in Kefka's tower. And for all of his strengths, Yamaro is indeed not controllable. So either Gogo or Yumaro have to go together, which isn't ideal because Yumaro doesn't benefit Gogo, or Gogo or Yumaro are gonna have to go by themselves in one of the lanes, and that's always a scary proposition.
Yeah, so I actually had a situation. I was playing Seed recently, and I had Gogo Yamaro as my starting characters, and I kept them the whole way. And thankfully, it was Moogle Cup. I had an Esper with Ultima, so I had Gogo and Yamaro, and I put a third character with them, and I just gave them the Esper with Ultima, took out the dragon, and then that gave Gogo Ultima. That was my solution. But so if you could potentially do something like that to just get some spells on the Go-Go and keep them together. Since again, all you need is for that third character to learn the spells, and with dragons give 50 magic points, so as long as the it's ×2 or higher learn rate, then you're gonna learn it no matter what from just fighting that one dragon. So
yeah. So unfortunate news for Mike. He's pretty much guaranteed to get 13 Espers, which is never a good feeling. Good news is Zigzag has finally found character number 6. We don't know who that character is, but by the process of elimination, assuming we're not forgetting any checks out there, this is pretty much down and out, where the rest of the seed is going to open up. And who do we find?
Did Mike check Phantom Train?
He did not. He did not.
I mean, look, I know Phantom Train's slow, but oh, there's our 7th character. It's only like 20 seconds to check that, and if it's not a character, you don't have to do the rest of it. So I'm again, this is.
It could be
yeah.
It could be the Phantom Train living rent free. Actually, not the Phantom Train, the floating continent living rent free in your head. Because I bet Mike's probably spent the past 40 minutes debating, do I go to Phantom or floating continent or not Phantom Train? And he's felt burned enough that he's probably thinking, oh man, somebody else. I'm racing person A, and person A is kind of up here. I just don't want to, have the bad news any longer. I need to know what's up there. I want to know what's up there. And unfortunately, it's going to be 3 Espers for him.
Yeah, I mean, I could get doing it over Kefka and Arsh, but again, it's like 20 seconds to go and check it. It's not that bad. Cult is only like a minute. It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, you can't leave after the first check, but still, it's like 2 minutes of walking plus the 2 bosses and 3 encounters. So it's still, not that great. I mean, I guess, I don't know how close they are to skip, but maybe they're like 3 checks away, and they're thinking well, I get skipped no matter what. I got 2 chances at a character. But, yeah, I think I would rather peak Phantom Train.
I think Schwantz must be close to his, maybe not. Yeah, maybe he's making this based on being 3 Espers and giving him Esper skip. He does have Yumaro, so he can run up and do Yumaro's checks because we know there's not a character up there, and there's the Tritok spot, which can only be an Esper or an item. So maybe he's hedging, not feeling great about his setup, and just going to get more levels under his belt no matter what. And if he gets check skip or skip some way somehow along the way, more power to him.
Yep, definitely some interesting routing choices here. I do not agree with any of the routing decisions, but that's why they're the ones racing, and I'm not racing. So it's lots of different ways to route it, but yeah, very 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 interesting choices here. So we get to see the baby Atma. We saw the namesake of the flag set Atma early. I forget where it was, but
let's talk about Zigzag for a moment. This is going to be his unlock. He has check skip. He's got really good power under his belt. He's never really faltered. And Zigzag has not been playing Worlds Collide very long. He's picked it up very fast, and you can make a case that Mike or Schwantz is one of the top, if not the top players of Worlds Collide today in the game, in the entire community. And here is Zigzag on stream a few months in, going toe-to-toe with some heavyweights and taking them to school, to be honest with you. He's going to go into the tower while they're still looking for character number 5, or in Schwantz's case, trying to get Cafe Tower ready.
Yeah, I don't know if this is going to be skip for Schwantz or if they would still need like more checks for that. So that definitely. I mean, again, if he's like 3 checks away, I could see, or entering this, then I could see why you would do that. To this guaranteed check skip, and chances are you're going to get your Esper. I mean, I probably would have done it earlier, but it's not the end of the world to save it for later.
Yeah, maybe now with these 2.
Actually, it'll be
Espers.
Esper skip since they. Yeah, so yes, so they already had. They must have already had unlocked when they went here. So yeah, it's definitely a very interesting play to come here when you already have unlock. I mean, partially, might just be feeling like need more power, but generally speaking, you don't want to waste that much time trying to get skip, and I mean, this could have been 1 Esper and 2 dead checks, which I mean, I guess that's potentially more power, but it could have been like 4 shield and an economizer or something like that. And you're like still not really any closer to being able to do anything except outside of getting a couple levels. You've used like 3 or 4 minutes to do that, but Schwantz paying off with the risk and getting 3 Espers out of it and getting their skip, so they'll be entering shortly behind 6 hit, so should still be fairly close. Mike on the other hand, they got a little ways to go.
When Mike finds it though, he's going to come storming back. I can tell you that much, because he's going to be in the 50s and levels, have power overwhelming. He already kind of does have power overwhelming, but he'll have Cafe Tower skip and unlock to go with his power overwhelming. So while Zigzag is closer to the finish line physically, spiritually, Mike just needs to find the way to get there, and guess right once he descends from Floating Continent, and he'll be right there on both runners' tails. Assuming he can pass this math test.
Yep, that is the crucial. Oh god.
Oh, so
about that.
Yeah, about that. Poor Mike. Yeah, that's a long way. That's really frustrating. He was going up there looking for character number 6. It wasn't even up there. Now he's got to eat that Doom Gaze. He's all the way back. He's happened to be level 40 when he went up there. If he wants to do it, he has to redo the Katana Soul fight and walk a very long way. That is just unfortunate. Outside of Mike's control, that happened to him.
Yep. Yeah, that's why it can pay off to check, especially if like no one's died. All your characters are on the same level. Definitely can be worthwhile. Just check. When you're entering it, any check. Basically, you have a boss upcoming. What would happen if Doomgaze came up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely something that burned me in the past. When I did the top 8 Moogle Cup race, went to Zozo World of Balance, which is a Terra check, and there's no save point there, so you just have to walk. It's like, I mean, it's not that slow, but it's still like a minute or so. They happened to be level 35, and Doomgaze was there. And I didn't realize it was level 35, and yeah. So that was, about minute 15. I never got back. Which, always hurts.
Oh no, the Cranes gave Schwantz the business there. That is no bueno.
Yeah, Cranes, generally speaking, not high on your biggest threat list, but Lots of enemies that don't seem like they'd be that big of a deal when when they're at like max scaling. Can hit pretty hard. I didn't see what it was. Did it like reflect something or what killed him? But
I think it was Flare Star, because Flare Star is independent of what the enemy's stats are or aren't. It is entirely dependent on your level. It's basically your level times 80, and then spread out amongst all the targets on screen. And when you're in a Kefka's tower, there's only 2 targets on screen, so you could almost surmise that it's going to do double damage if your party was fully formed, because there's 2 less targets to multiply it by. And especially if you have like an egg wearer, because it does technically target either the Yamaru or the Saven there. And if it targets the person with the higher levels out of the 2, it's going to do more damage. Fortunately, we're through on attempt number 2.
So is it choosing to equip Celis with that Atma and offering, I presume? Makes sense. Celis can naturally use the Atma weapon. They did get her a bit late, so it can be a bit tough to pivot to someone when they haven't been getting any of those stat boosts. And generally speaking, like when you get your 6th character, because it's average level of all your party members, and next case one of them is has been staying on the ship the whole time, so you're going to be a bit lower level than your main party members, but still Atma weapons, one of the best weapons in the game. Even at I didn't see what level Celis is, but I presume probably high 30s, maybe low 40s. So still worth doing, but yeah, right now pretty neck and neck.
Ooh, Darkness, we got a raid.
Ooh. I'm sorry, I'm terrible and do not have the SpeedGaming chat open. You want to shout it out? Who it was?
We'll wait for you to get it open.
Okay. It's gonna be a little bit, but will I even see? Or will it not show up since I'm joining late?
We'll find out. While Darkness gets the chat loaded, Zigzit is on his Switch, officially on his Kefka Tower switches. He will begin the climb to the final boss through various tiers. Schwantz will be far behind him. Mike will be a little farther behind them once he gets off of Loadicon and finds his character number 6. But a fun little game we like to play in the Worlds Collide community is how long will it take the first runner in a restreamed race to defeat the final boss? And a good estimate is anywhere from 8 to 10 minutes. Zigzit, however, has pretty good power. He has access to some insta-death, which is a key piece of the fight. Don't think he has the offering everybody else has, but nonetheless, he's got pretty good knowledge of the final fight, pretty good power. I'm gonna guess 9 minutes on the dot.
Yeah,
you're saying 105.55 bell.
Shouts to Fiery Blizzard for the raid. Probably another Final Fantasy VI runner, very very good. Definitely recommend checking them out. They've also been doing an 81 game solo multi-world, which has been pretty intense. I may or may not be responsible for most of the games in there, especially the suffering ones like Castlevania 64. It's very very fun. Yeah, we're trying to get a Final Fantasy 12 race at some point, but Glue is being annoying about that. But anyway, on to the important stuff. And Celis does have the Atma with offering, so Zixit did pick that up, presumably from Katana Soul.
Yeah, you do have until the end of Tier 1, which is this lovely 3-piece tier on screen right now to get your guesses in chat. We got 841 from Jbrun. Jbrun, my dog, good evening to you. Welcome on in. And an extra bonus, one-time bonus tonight, if anybody in chat gets the correct guess on screen, Darkness will send them a signed copy of Final Fantasy 12 himself.
Signed by me? Yeah, I can do that.
No, I'm just joking.
Yeah, no.
But do get your guesses in chat because we do want to celebrate somebody if they get it directly on.
Yeah. Well, I figured, what are the odds of it actually happening? I can promise something that's not going to happen. Definitely. What's the worst that could happen? Gambling 101. But yeah, I'll go 8-12 for Zixit.
Okay.
You don't have a ton of power, but you do have, I think, most of the things we'd want other than that.
Now we got
Common.
regen on the party because we summoned Unicorn.
Yeah.
Excuse me,
Does
Kieran.
Bigguard give regen, or is it
I
only
think
like shell and stuff?
I think it does, but Marble Shoes no, Marble Shoes does. I think it
Yeah, Marble Shoes
doesn't,
does.
but Marble Shoes does.
Okay.
There's probably a game FAQS article written in 1997 that will tell us for certain, but I think that's it.
Schwann's coming in now. Gonna be probably about a full tier behind at this point. Not sure how much more power they have at this point.
Well, they have a
took
lot
out
more
one
power
last
because they have
one.
Yumaro,
Okay. That is
right?
true.
Mm-hmm.
It's Yumaro with a, lightsaber, which is, the best Yumaro.
All right, tier 2 for Zigzit. More important question though. Mike is about to find that Yumaro. Darkness, do you think right here, right now, will you commit to it? Will you commit to saying that Mike will put Yumaro in his party when he finds him here?
I'm gonna commit to Mike being a traitor and not putting Yumaro in his party.
All right, if he doesn't, we'll
obvious.
possibly cut his stream and go work on it from there. But this is great from Zigzit. He has access to X-Zone and Mute. Those are key pieces of tier 2. They just make the fight so much smoother because there are 4 things on screen. There's 4 things on your side of the screen. All of those things acting at one time, very chaotic. But if you can instant death the middle piece and then mute magic, you eliminate 2 of the enemies, and now the battle is in your favor.
Yep. Yeah, the only other one that's, very annoying is Tiger. Tiger you can't really do anything about, and they can freeze you and zombie you, and so you just have to focus on them. But it's, very nice when you can get rid of tools and get rid of magic. And you don't have to worry about them, adding more danger, because, magic can muddle you, which can end your run very quickly if you, get muddled and then, quad, fixed dice or Atma your entire party or whatever. And tools can petrify, so those are both very annoying. Hits is not that big of a deal. All he does is physical attacks, which is, generally speaking, not that difficult to deal with.
I have great news. Don't cut his stream. Yumaro in the party for Mike. Love to see it.
Interesting going with the Rag instead of the Gauntlet Ragnarok. Actually, Genji Love maybe going with both.
Yeah, this is real smart. Give them both.
Yep. I was gonna say, probably would rather have the Atma weapon, given that you don't get the auto crit with Yumaro using the Ragnarok. But if you can, why not both?
Yeah, why not both?
Got the Genji Love. Might as well use it.
Okay, so Schwant's catching up a little bit of ground. He is on the tier 2, which is the current tier Zigzit is at. However, we're on the back 9 on the top half of your screen and teeing off on the first hole on the bottom half of your screen. So Zigzit's still in the lead despite the mirrored tiers at the moment. Darkness, what has to happen to Zigzit here for Schwant's to have a chance to catch up?
I mean, Calmness is the great equalizer. I think we have Fenrir. But Meteor also can be annoying. I think it's just mainly about damage output at this point. Is does Swans have enough damage output to catch up? And okay, maybe tier 4. Like if Goner can add some time to it. If the ultimate counter also adds a lot of time, could be potentially run ending. But I think beyond that, I think it's going to be tough for Zigzit to lose significant time. It's just about whether or not Schwantz can just go through these tiers a bit faster with a higher damage output.
Yeah, in short, Schwantz needs some things to go right for him. He needs some things to go wrong for Zigzit. Tier 3 and Tier 4, we're pretty much done with Tier 2 here for Zigzit. Just a formality at this point. But Tier 3 and Tier 4 can turn into some roadblock situations. You get a couple counters that are unfortunate in the wrong spots. You gotta, get those characters back up or remove status effects. And while you're doing that, other things can happen that just further add to the roadblock situation. So a couple of those coming out would greatly benefit Schwantz. But again, as we mentioned, Zigzit is an ascending runner, extending the Tier 3, in fact, but not just here, but in our hearts as well. So he knows his way around this Kefka fight, and I expect him to be able to comfortably navigate those roadblocks here in Tier 3.
Yep. So, for those that do not know Tier 3 as well as Zixit does, we got Girl on the left there and Sleep on the bottom right. Want to kill Girl first, she can absorb all 8 elements, and she'll also revive Sleep if she's left alive. Sleep, meanwhile, as mentioned, will use up to 2 calmness attacks when he dies, which is, again, another important reason to kill him last, because you don't really want him doing that multiple times if he gets revived. And also, when he gets under 10,240 HP or below, his script will change, and he'll start countering every attack with a chance of 1/3 chance of either train, medio, or doing nothing. And also, every attack he will do is medio. Medio is very strong, although thankfully very unlikely to hit attack. But still, if you get like 2 medios in a row and they both hit, they can very quickly kill a couple of your party members. So that could be another potential problem. Because you don't really want to lose like someone to medio and then lose another person or two to calmness, and then all of a sudden you're sitting with one character that could like do any damage into Final Kefka. It's kind of looking bad. And you either and there is the medio.
Ooh, this is dangerous. I don't know if that's the turn medio or the counter
miss.
medio. Yeah, the miss incredibly fortunate because the turn is not far behind. Yep, there's the turn.
Oh, there's turn. But we got high enough. It should only be about like 1,800 or so, or not even like 1,400. So hopefully this kills. If this doesn't kill, it's a bit of a problem because it could take another medium. Thankfully, got nothing. All right, that will kill. All right, on calmness. I guess we did not have Fenrir because Setzer goes down, but 3 out of 4 surviving is good enough. But that will be a bit tough. But I mean, just now a full tier ahead on the Schwans, so I think Schwann's
this
running
is
out of time to catch up.
Yeah, the good news for Schwantz at least is that Celeste her HP is she did eat one of those medios, so her Atma weapon is no longer at full strength, so that will cause a little bit of delay for Zigzag to get her back to full HP. Plus we have a Fallen 1 coming, and I don't think he has the damage output to bypass Fallen 1, because we have to do very quickly do almost 30,000 in damage, and I don't think we can quite get there. So the door is slightly opened for Schwantz to catch up if he can be speedy with his tier 3.
Yeah, the one nice thing about Fallen 1 is you don't really have to worry about killing Celes at this point, because you can just do it after Fallen 1, because not going to have enough damage to kill, to get him out of Fallen 1, but not bring no elixir, but yeah, probably just going to wait and let him cast Fallen 1. But everyone, yep, there we go. Gonna put those elixirs onto the most important party members. Now try and, much nicer damage output there with about 2,300. Nope, and we're into Goner phase because the hyperdrive counter comes out, unfortunately, onto our full HP Sabin instead of like the 1 HP Shadow or the low HP Cyan. But we got plenty of elixirs, so still pretty fine. Shadow's doing his job here. Cyan gonna elixir himself. Makes sense. I want to get him high HP because Goner should be coming out soon. Gonna choose to wait. Don't want to take another hyperdrive to the face. Don't really have enough damage to where I think you'd have to worry about ultimate at this point, but still, generally don't want to risk it if you don't have to. Yeah, so Kefka cannot counter while he's charging for Goner until his ATB fills from the turn after he casts Goner, so got plenty of time to get a couple attacks in. And that will do it. GG's 117 something.
1710.
Yep.
Very nicely done. GG's indeed. So 105.55 was the start time for Zigzit, and 117. So we're over 9 minutes, which was the highest guess on my half. Nevertheless, good GGs and well done. Well done, is it? We'll get him in here for interview in just a few moments. Or excuse me, a few minutes.
Meanwhile, Schwann's moving on to tier 4 of Kefka himself. As Mike starts to climb. Yeah, I mean, you can see how much time was lost from that. You know, Fanatics Tower. I mean, not Fanatics Tower. Floating Continent. Just, you know, I think she's probably about one check away, about the same. I mean, as the Schwann's and the 6-hit were, but yeah, unfortunately, did not pay off. Ooh, we got Mega Elixir on Schwanz's end. Or was that Cure? Maybe I might be blind. That might have just been a Cure spell. Oof, Hyperdrive to the face. Yeah, I'm not going to be surviving that. Unfortunately, one of the more important characters in the Saban, I think.
All right, we are joined by Zigzit58. Zigzit, GG's, if you can hear me.
I can hear you if you can hear me. All right.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. I'm not hallucinating this, right? Did I win that?
Yeah, you did. You are not hallucinating it one bit. And
Wow.
you found quite a number of espers too. So very nicely done all around. Talk to the seed a little bit here.
That was filthy looking start. I mean, had to rely on essentially a mage. Cyan was about all I had.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a fair bit more time looting than I normally would trying to find some kind of offense. And that paid off. Since I got the save and I was able to do a few grind fights, get some levels, get some MP on Cyan at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought I had absolutely botched the seed when I searched the skies and didn't reset out of Atma and burned all those elixirs just keeping his MP up, but it was a nice thing to get through and get that XP going. And from there it kind of started working out a little bit, started getting some tier 3 spells, getting Setzer online, kind of cobbled together something with Saban there with the Man-Eater and Sniper. Figured he'd be decent at the end if he could proc some of those throws, which worked out all right. I kept that Atma in the back of my head because I found that I think returners.
Mm-hmm.
And I figured that was probably something other people might not see, so I kind of had the monster in a boxes in my head and absolutely lucked out on that Katana Soul up on Floating Continent. So, in retrospect, it probably would have been better to put the Atlas Armlet on Celis just to get that damage cap broken a little bit cleaner, but it worked out having the two there. And actually, the other thing that kind of saved my seed a little bit was shopping on Ghost Train and finding a bunch of elixirs with all that gold I had left.
Yeah, you had 7 elixirs there, so we weren't worried about the fallen one anymore. But yeah, you had mentioned the Floating Continent and what was up there. Floating Continent kind of played a huge role in the seed for a variety of reasons. Mike went up there with 10 espers, so you kind of know how that went for him. But what was your thought process on your decision around the time with the Floating Continent? What were you thinking there when you pressed the button to fly up there?
I was thinking Saban was likely to have at least one character behind him. But with 4 other checks and, I figured he'd probably only have one. And he ended up having 2, which kind of burned me a little bit on the character side, but going Floating Continent did work out for the Esper skip. But I figured in the Sphere 1, Shadow would probably have a character from either the first or third check. And there again, it might be something that if it was gated, it was worth. I'm stacked up against some pretty serious talent in this one, so I was like, it might be something I can do a little variance on, and if it works out for me, great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Saban
And
actually ended up having 3 characters. Amara was also at
Just-
Mount Colts.
oh
Yeah,
god, wow.
just took us a while to find them all.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was figuring. It's like I could go hunting through his checks, but there were so many open ones, I wasn't super confident that I'd pick right. So I kind of went for the check density, at least with Shadow, figuring that with two places where characters could be, I might hit that. So worked out for me and kind of screwed up in reverse and got the Esper skip out of the way, which kind of slingshot me into Kefka's pretty quick.
Speaking of slingshot and questions, Schwantz, we have a lot of questions. Darkness, hopefully you wrote them down all.
Great.
I don't know where to start, so I'll just pick the most interesting one. For a while there, you took an empty Cyan, you took all the equipment off of Cyan, you took all the relics, the Esper off him, you danced around, and then you ran up Narsh. What was going on there? Can you elaborate on that for a little bit for us? Because there were about 70 viewers in chat at the time, and every one of them was puzzled. What was going on?
Took the stuff off.
Well,
off side. Like, is that first thing in the seed? The only time I think I was in Narch was looting, right?
Oh
Yeah, I
no,
was gonna say-
Schwantz had some interesting choices he made.
Yeah, Naked Cyan is everybody's favorite Cyan, right? No. Yeah, so I made a decision to myself. The next character I get, I'm going to go do Gogo's check no matter what. And I ended up, getting the 6th character at Mount Colts, right? And I realized about after I went on the airship, I don't actually have to do Gogo's check. I have tons of better checks here. But let's just see what Umaro's reward is, because if it's another character, I'm going to go grab another character, perhaps, right? And it wasn't. So that's why I went back into Narsh, just to peek to see what the Umaro reward was. And then I had already committed to the bit, right, with bringing my party down to a single character. So that's why I regrettably did Zone Eater. But hey, it got me an Esper, and I ended up getting 12 for Esper skip. So I guess I needed it in the end, ? I probably would have been better off doing one or more of Umaro's checks, because I didn't realize how low level Umaro was when I put him in the party, because he was the only person that could use the Atma weapon, right? That level 3 Setzer was really weighing me down like an anchor, or whatever he ended up being, right? Like 8 or 9 or something like that. So yeah, there was a lot of weird stuff that was going on in this seed, because we got basically nothing for the majority of it. I found a sniper in one of the shops to give to Saban, and I made a gamble on an early floating continent play with the Go-Go Mimic plus Grand Train, and it ended up working out, because that's where Katana Soul was for the sniper offering build, right? But we just didn't really get much at all until there's a Fire 3 Esper somewhere in the seed, right? And that was pretty much it.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm curious, obviously there's another triple check that you didn't go until you already had unlock with 6 and 9. So like, as was your decision but on like avoiding Dome of the Dream for that long, and then also like, why did you choose to do it when you already had unlock?
Yeah, so I wanted to choose one 3-part check, so I did Floating Continent, and then I decided, hey, if Dream is 3 Espers, I can get skip in about 5 minutes, and that's going to save me some time overall, right? And even if it doesn't, it'll hopefully get me at least 2 Espers, right? And then I can go up to Umaro's spot, and out of those 2 checks, get a 3rd Esper, right? Because Umaro's spot wasn't a character. So I was fishing for Esper skip, basically, at that point. It seemed, I know, it looked a little weird to be like, hey, you get unlocked, but by the way, let's go do another 3-part check, right? But in my mind, just in terms of timing, it made sense, right? If you can get your skip in less than like 7 or 8 minutes, then you're going to be making up time overall. Plus, my team was not very high level, as I just mentioned. I didn't realize it really until, I had completed the Kefka Tower unlock and said, wow, Umaro's only level 31. I need some more bosses. So that was also part of the impetus to do that as well.
Well, I think those are the major questions we had. Got Mike.
Yeah,
Mike,
Gogo and Umaro in the final party. Who would have thought, huh?
true. Yeah. Yeah,
My team
that
was
was another
incredibly
one.
weak. Yeah, my team was pretty weak anyway, right? Saban was doing the most when the sniper was actually proccing. He was the only character I think that was hitting for more than 5,000 damage consistently, right? Gogo had Grand Train, which is doing decent damage, but if there was more than one target that I was fighting, then it was only like 3,000. And I don't know what happened with Shadow. I thought I had put a magic power +1 Esper on him, but then he was only doing like 4k damage with Fire 3, and I was like, well, I guess I just didn't have enough levels here or something. And then Umara was only swinging for 3,000 with Atma weapons, so it was going to be a long Kefka fight, and it ended up being pretty long. I think it was, double-digit minutes for how long that fight was, so not great.
And Mike finishes as well, so hopefully we'll get them in
GG's.
fairly shortly. GG's, but yes. Just want to say, any other thoughts like at the start of the seed, like, or did you have any like unique decisions to make based on just how little power you had to start, or just sort of?
Yeah, I opened up way more chests than I normally do. I think I've been hovering around like 30 or 40 most seeds, and in this seed I got to almost 70. Right? I'll leave you as a guess as to what the actual number was, viewers, when I say almost 70. But
Nice.
yeah, but that was my strategy is find something in a chest. We found an Atma weapon in the shop, and then the entire seed. I just said, you know what? I'm gonna find a character who can use this Atma weapon, by golly, and that just never happened until Umaro, right? Which is questionable Atma weapon user at best. I'm sorry, Glue.
We'll delete that post edit. Speaking of
Sure.
Umaro, Mike, you finally found Umaro as character number 6 after 13 Espers. Mike, you unfortunately got the 3 Esper floating continent when he went up there late. Talk to us about that for a moment.
Oh no. Okay, so the real tragedy was doing Katana Soul and then having the enlightened realization that I was level 40.
Yep.
And level 40 is so bad because you can get Doom Gaze, but fortunately I was aware of this and took a grind fight and got 4,000 XP, and I didn't level up that 4,000 XP, so I took another grind fight, got another 4,000, and made the unfortunate mistake of assuming that meant I leveled. You know what? I didn't level.
Ooh.
Oh man, yeah, that Doom Gaze was a bit of a jump scare for me because I was pretty sure I was safe, but
So I was
you never
laughing
tell.
because I'm like, haha, Doom Gaze, I outthought you, and then I died. And then,
Oh, no.
Yeah, but at least you got to learn level 5 Doom on Cyan, right? Question mark.
yeah, he learned it a couple times.
Yeah, I had saved in the save point right before that, so even because I had just gotten the offering as well, and I was like, you know what? If I die up here on Floating Continent, I at least want to have the offering when I come off of it for the sniper offering build that I had. So use that other save point, folks.
I thought about using the save point, but I thought, one fight will probably level me. I was wrong. And I could use that. I'd rather have the level than the extra steps, extra cardio. So that's where my thought was there.
I mean, I absolutely should have used it because I was running on fumes for MP on that fight. Because I was thinking, I've got decent enough power at this point with this party. I can probably get through it. And then his Doom Gaze, who's super thick, and all I had to really damage him with was Fire 3, and that burned out all my MP really fast.
Yeah, he's just bones and a cape. You'd think he wouldn't have that much HP, but lo and behold.
Oh yeah, he's thick.
All right, Mike. One last question. You put Umaro in the party when you found him at the end. Talk to us why that was the correct decision.
Well, that was actually 100%, regardless of what Umaro could wear, the correct decision, because Setzer was fixed dice and only fixed dice. He wasn't really bringing anything to the table, and Umaro was going to bring in damage, and I thought, well, maybe he can use the rag or the ammo weapon, and he could use both. So he got to party and do about 11, 12K a round.
Very well said.
Solid. That's amazing.
Yeah, he was the
Right.
MVP.
Where was the
Right,
rag in that? Where was the Ragnarok in this one?
Oh, is one on the every single check you can do without finding the last character check. Which one was that? It was
Cave on the belt.
about
Wow. All right, GG's guys, Mike, Zigzag, and Schwantz, thank y'all so much for being on Restream tonight. Before we let each one of y'all go, Zigzag, since you won, I'll throw you the question first. Do you got anything coming up in your own neck of the woods, inside or outside the speed gaming or Worlds Collide community you want to give a shout out and or mention to?
Not really. I'm mostly just focusing on Atmos series at this point. And everybody watch out. Moogle Cup's just going to be starting up here pretty soon, so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You see some new players, like to see some new players get into this as well. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Schwantz, he's pushing the company lines for us. I don't know what to do. We're getting our job stolen.
Yeah, that's the commentator's job, is to plug
Yeah.
all the stuff.
All right, Mike, I throw the same question your way, my friend.
Yeah, we got week 3 Atmos series. We're in week 3 of 8. It's been really fun and exciting so far. I think I'm gonna watch some Zigzit streams so I can learn how to play this game really good. And also for Zigzit, the Imp Dragoons we're waiting for our other half, the Imp Dragoons, our other half of Toonpon Championship to be ran. So if you are so inclined, that seed is waiting for my partner.
I will get back in it. Can't leave my partner hanging.
All right, last but definitely not least, Schwantz, I throw the same question your direction.
Yeah, so I have not had breakfast yet today, so I'm looking forward to that.
10 p.m.
It's 7:40. It's tomorrow for me here in India. Yeah, so I think besides what you guys said, thank you all for volunteering to race on Restream. We can't have races without runners, so thanks everybody. Thank you, Glue, Gratham Darkness as well for doing the commentary and tracking. Shout out to Trenton, I think, was the one who did the setup. So Thank you for doing that so that I could, run a seed here. And we've got a lot of interesting events going on besides the stuff you guys had already plugged. I run the weekly draft on the Discord, so we're starting that back up again here. We've got that. And then tons of other just weekly random events to hop in and hop out of. No long-term commitment. If you feel like running something a little bit different than your standard sort of seeds, then that's the place where you want to be. So go check it out. I think that should be all of the plugs, besides the fact that we're probably going to be doing Mondays on Speed Gaming, for a little bit anyway, while we have the Speed Gaming crew. Thank you so much for allowing us to be featured on one of the channels. Really appreciated. Back over to you, Glue and Darkness.
Yeah. Thank you, Darkness, so much for joining me tonight. Trenton, again, thank you for taking over for Schwantz so he could. He needed the practice. Let's be honest here. No, I'm kidding. Thank you again, Trenton. And then thank you, Gratham, for tracking as well. Darkness, would you like to sign us
not
off?
False, Glue. 2 8th place finishes in Atma League say I definitely need the practice.
At least you finished twice. I've only finished once.
That's yeah. Getting over the finish line is better than not finishing at all.
Yeah. Sign us off, Darkness. Sign us off.
Yeah, so, you already did most of the signing off, but, yeah, thank you to our runners, Mike, the Schwans, Zigzit, and also Nani Gray, who was running it as well, not on stream. Thanks to you, Glue, for doing the commentating and helping set this up, and Schwans as well for helping set it up. Thank you, Gretham, for tracking. I'm Darkness, and yeah, we will see you hopefully sometime, maybe next week on Monday again, or sometime in the near future. Take care and have a great night or morning if you're in India like the Schwans.